Welcome back to TechniqueWOD. Today we're talking about how to modify your pulling movements to work around medial elbow pain. Okay, we did another episode all about pressing and how to modify pressing movements to work around medial elbow pain. On that video I pointed out that things like rope climbs where I'm pulling really stressed the inside of my elbow like this. Same thing with, I won't go over that, but same thing when I'm doing the transition on a muscle up, that's really hard on the inside of my elbow here. If you've been, especially if you're a baseball player, which is kind of how I originally got my medial elbow pain, it's kind of stuck around since years and years and years ago playing baseball. I'm always working around it. It doesn't bother me that much because I know the things that flare it up, and I know the things that I can do where I can still get a good fitness benefit. I can still put on muscle mass and gain strength without exacerbating the potential that I have with my medial elbow pain. That's always kind of, it's not always present, but it's always kind of in the background. I know it can flare up if I do the wrong things. And so here's a couple ways that I've worked around it, especially for pulling movements specifically. First, an example here, if I press into this upright like this and I'm internally rotating at the shoulder joint, I'm trying to push this way, but it's resisting me, that's going to put all the stress right here on the inside of my elbow. The opposite, if I put my hand on the upright this way and I try to press out into it, now all that stress is going across the outside of my elbow. Okay? So when I'm doing something like a ring row or any horizontal pulling, if I'm here and I attach them to a single point up there where they are now angled out just a little bit, so they're not going straight up, they're angled out. Well, now as I pull, I'm pulling from the inside toward the outside. So I get a little bit of an external rotating effect at the shoulder. This ring is trying to pull me to the inside, and I'm pulling it slightly to the outside. Now that I had that little bit of an external rotation torque on the ring, the stress on the medial elbow goes away almost all the way, and all that stress gets put across more the outside of my elbow. So now I can do horizontal pulling here, and I'm much less likely to get any pain on the inside of my elbow. Okay. So you can use that same type of technique on any horizontal pulling. Really, you can do it on vertical pulling too, but I don't think it actually works very well to do full pull-ups where you're hanging. If you put the rings a little lower, probably a little higher than this, but and they're attached to a single point, like I just said, you can still do some type of vertical-ish pulling like this, where again, I'm pulling from inside toward the outside. And pulling in that fashion is going to just make it where the stress on your elbow is much less than it would be otherwise. Okay? It might not go away all the way. If it's still there and it's not really doing anything, then maybe your elbows just hurt to the point where you just need to lay off it for a little while, and you can go do some bodybuilding type stuff, go do some single joint work. You might end up, for a period of time where you're getting physical therapy, doing lateral raises and other smaller single joint movements just to keep muscle mass and some fitness while you're waiting to get back to the main core movements. Another thing you can do is you can do face pulls. So a face pull looks like this. If you don't know what a face pull is, let me shake this guy out. Usually I put my thumbs in a band like this, I step back, and I just pull toward my face. So this is the same concept that we were just talking about, where as I'm pulling, I'm externally rotating. This is internal rotation, this is external rotation. So I'm going from out in front of me and I'm externally rotating as I pull. I'm still getting some upper back work. The weight is going to be lighter. The stimulus on my big muscles like my lats is going to be less because I'm going to full external rotation. Lats are internal rotators. There's some activation there, but I'll still get some scapular retraction, my rhomboids, etc. are going to still get a little bit of work. Lower traps, rotator cuff, especially the external rotators, as your rotator cuff is four muscles, so my infraspinatus, my teres minor, etc. They're going to be getting a good amount of work by doing something like face pulls. Is it pull-ups? No. Is it heavy bent rows? No. But if you are working around medial elbow pain and you still want to get some stimulus for your pulling muscles for your back, biceps, etc., then doing these external rotation biased variations can be very valuable while you're working through that pain that you don't want to make any worse, because eventually if it gets really, really bad, then you have to have, medial elbow surgery or whatever it is. So try those variations out. I've used them many times, over the last 10 years or more, and they always are helpful to me. That way I can still train, still have a good time, and not exacerbate the elbow pain that could potentially be there. Okay. So try that out. You can follow me, Douglas E. Larson, on Instagram. You can follow the Shrugged Collective at Shrugged Collective on Instagram. Also, ShruggedCollective.com has everything that we do with all of our shows and all of our products and all of our training programs and everything else that we do. So check out ShruggedCollective.com. We have the program Vault. That is a membership site that has all 12 of our online training programs. We have 4 long-term programs that go for beyond a year. Some are 18 months, some are even 24 months long programs in there. There's like 10 years of programming on that site, all told. And then we have 8 short-term programs that are add-on programs. They're 3 months long, and you can add them in addition to whatever training program you're already doing. If you're following the classes at your local gym or whatever it happens to be, and you want to add some extra shoulder work, extra cardio, or extra anything, we have programs for extra goals that are add-on programs intended to be added on to what you're already doing. So those are pretty awesome. Check that out, ShruggedCollective.com/vault. We'll see you another day.
Shrugged listeners, welcome to the Shrugged Collective Program Vault. Over the last 6 years, we've been leading the charge in online strength and conditioning programming and coaching. And for the first time in the history of the Shrugged Collective, we're combining our 11 best-selling long-term and short-term accessory programs into one membership site called the Program Vault. From Olympic weightlifting to strongman, leaning out, nutrition, you name it, our 11 best-selling programs are yours for $47 a month. Get to ShruggedCollective.com/vault, and you will find immediate access to our 11 best-selling strength and conditioning programs.